Welcome to another update of my mashup of Inktober, Preptober, and NaNoWriMo, which I'm doing in December. For the past couple of days, I've been focused on the writing piece of my project, and so I don't have any new drawing footage to show you. What I'm showing instead is some drawings I did in the past couple of months, which are on topic by having a kind of magical and fantasy theme. So for the past couple of days, I've been listing out the scenes in the second act of my novel and working on troubleshooting them. For every scene, I need to know some pretty basic things like what happens, and usually I do, even though there are occasional gaps in the details. The next question is why each of those things happens, and there needs to be a good reason for it to seem plausible and to work well with the plot. So I've been asking myself that for every plot point, and I've found that usually I have an answer or even many answers. So then it becomes a matter of picking the best answer or strengthening the answer. Because on occasion, I've had a plot point or a reason or a thought process for one of the characters, and it hasn't rung true for me. And I've been trying to make it stronger. To do that, I've been doing a process that's kind of similar to outlining. I'm creating an outline from chapters I've already written, so it's not like the outlining you would do before your first draft. Rather, it's been me listing all the scenes in Act 2, writing down what happens and why, and then setting myself a whole bunch of questions and brainstorming answers for things that would make the scene stronger. So here I'm sitting down for a writing session, and you can see the most important ingredient being poured first. I sat at my drawing table this time, which is at an incline. That's why this footage of me writing is shot at this crazy Dutch angle, where the windowsill is horizontal. I started a new blank document to have a relatively uncluttered place to work. Scrolling through my giant manuscript can sometimes be a little overwhelming. And so on a new page, I made a timeline. I listed out the scenes in Act 2 that I was interested in, and I just free wrote some questions and issues that were top of mind. It was interesting to see the range of things that came up. I had some complaints about some aspect of the world building, or another character's personality, the tone in some places. Kind of a jumble of things that were giving me this vague feeling of something being wrong with Act 2. And so it was good to list them and kind of tease them apart. The first time I did this, I just wrote down a bunch of questions that I didn't know the answer to. I identified like the biggest problem, and I just stopped there and walked away because I didn't know what to do next. And a day later, the solution just kind of occurred to me while I was in the middle of something else. So I just recorded a voice memo with ideas on what to do next. So that was encouraging. It's convinced me that it's worthwhile to just kind of identify these problems and list them out all on one page where I can see them, and then give myself some time to go off and have ideas. And so for the past couple of days, that pattern has held. I spend 15 minutes or 30, or today it was an hour, just brainstorming problems and then brainstorming solutions and noting down the answers that cross my mind, throughout the day. And this is pretty similar to the process I followed on Act 1, and I think it worked out pretty well. So there's some reason for confidence in it working out well on Act 2. It's tempting to measure progress by word count, and by that measure, all of this stuff I'm doing of tinkering with character motivations and magical stuff and backstory doesn't really read as progress. I think at some point it becomes unnecessary and it's just procrastinating against actually fixing the scenes. But I remember there was a point I reached when editing Act 1 where all the details clicked together and writing the scenes just became so much easier because I didn't have to make so many decisions and I was confident in the decisions I had made. So I'm hoping to get to that point with Act 2 as well. It will be interesting because I've never really revised a full draft before and I have no idea what it's supposed to feel like. So it will be interesting. I am cautiously optimistic. So that concludes this novel writing update, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!